hummingbirds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold when we wake.
Ronnie made me feel like more of a man than most women have ever made me feel.
Ronnie really makes you believe in yourself.
Ronnie's slogan is, do your best, and then take a big rest. Done. My girlfriend said she wasn't turned on to me anymore. She said I wasn't warm and cuddly enough. And then she left me for a comic book writer.
Donut up. Now control drop into your face.
I used to go about my day spending tens, even hundreds of calories doing just regular daily activities like lying down, brushing my teeth, reading a book. Now with the Slob 90X program, I can do these things in a lazy, almost catatonic way.
SLOB stands for slow, lazy, ordinary body. In just 90 days, I can help you become a computer nerd, a party animal, or just a plain old lovable slob. But there's too much crap to explain here now, and I gotta take a nap. So get yours today, and we'll send you the entire Slob 90X 12 DVD set, plus 4 bonus DVDs. Don't be miserable and muscle-bound. Be a slob now. I did it, and so can you.
Couch body.
I'm gonna get myself a motor. 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 I'm gonna get myself a motor.
Hey everybody, welcome to Lunch Therapy. I am your host, Joel Marshall. It is Interview Friday, and we have a great guest today. I'm so excited. We have Joel Byars here. He's the purveyor of hot breath. He's got some hot breath. He's, I don't know, maybe he's hoarding sriracha. I don't know what's going on, but he's somebody that is going to help us become professional comedians. You've seen him, he did a dry bar special. He has his own special. He's got his own network of hummingbird-like hot breathers out there. So this is going to be super, super interesting. Ginny Sykes is here. Danielle is here.
Ginny Sykes.
Yeah, Jeff Lohman. Jeff Lohman from all the way from Thailand. He's come to Vegas to see his relatives. Thousands of ducks are murdered every year in Wisconsin. They can't all be saved. Wow.
That's some quote.
It's getting deep in the chat room here today. Tiger. Yes, so this is Interview Friday. What we do in the beginning of the show is I bring on Blas Lorenzo, resident unprofessional therapist, to help us breathe and relax. So here we go. Let's do this thing called Lunch Therapy. Oh yeah, it took me a while. Oh my God, what happened? You grew hair.
How you feeling?
Wow, man. How did you do it?
It's this new formula.
Really?
Gets rid of dandruff and it perfects your coif.
Wow, man, it's looking good. You changed your face too. Your face is like a little different too. It's like, and maybe that stuff's affecting your brain.
It's the way it frames it. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
It's a frame.
Wow. It's like you're a different person, almost. It's like almost like you're a different person. The hair has given you like a new sense of confidence, I think.
I mean, what are you gonna do when you look this good?
I know you're.
Gotta be you. Gotta be you.
Gotta be you.
Right, Boney?
Boney, are you there?
Wait, we're having some technical difficulties right now.
Okay. No, Boney, that's just his hair. I mean, he grew hair. You grew hair. Boney grew hair. Did he give you the special formula to grow hair? Because he grew. Boney is my assistant technical director.
He ordered 2 bottles, one for him and one for me. I tell you, it's magnificent. It's a good place to be.
Chia head. Kamala thinks you look like Pootie Tang. You seen the movie Pootie Tang?
Oh, Pootie Tang, that's my hero.
Yeah, I love Pootie Tang.
Yeah, Pootie Tang.
All right, so let's breathe. What do you say? I gotta breathe because you're stressing me out with that hair.
Let's breathe. Come on.
I love that hair. All right, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Boney became a medical doctor. Did you know that?
Yeah.
During COVID, he became a medical doctor online. Yeah. I think online.
He's got his license is it's better than any license that we've ever got.
Are those words? Are those the words that you're saying, Bless?
He kind of makes us official. You know what I'm saying?
In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Behind me is Healing Vibrations, all the way from Seattle, Washington, helping us with the Tibetan bowls.
I hope the hummingbirds are breathing. Keep it breathing.
Jeff Lohman gives us a little trivia here. He says, Joseph Pedot died recently. He invented the chia pet and Bloss's chia pet. Wow. I think he means
not our Joseph Pedot, no.
Chia pet hair. He invented your hair. Yeah. So
our Jeff Pedot.
Our Jeff Lohman said Joseph Pedot died. You got it? Hello? Are you with me?
Yeah, I don't.
Are you with me?
I don't remember him.
Can you hear my voice?
It was recently?
Can you see my hand? How many fingers do I have up? Are we losing you?
6.
Oh,
6
no.
fingers.
Where are you, Blas? Says Lalita.
I'm living in my space. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Love it. All right, one more.
Carrying
in through the
on
nose.
Joseph Pedot's legacy.
In through the nose, out through the toes.
Let's breathe.
Hold it. Let it go.
Whoa.
See, now, Blas, you've started a rumor that Jeff Lohman's dead. And he's not dead.
No,
it's
not Jeff
Joseph Pedot.
Yes.
Inventor
Joseph
of the chia pet.
Jeff Lohman is in Las Vegas. Rolling high.
Last week, lived to be 91. There you go. All right, let's move on to this thing. Thank you to Healing Vibrations, for the Tibetan bowls, Zen music for sleep and reduced anxiety. Yes.
Wait a minute. Are they ready for Joel and Joel?
Joel and Joel's coming.
Are they ready?
I don't know if they can handle it. I don't know if they can handle the power of
It's going to be
Joel
a lot.
Squared.
It's going to be a lot, man.
I know. I think we need some Gubal. I'm going to bring some Gubal in.
I like that. Bring it in. Ooh.
Awesome. Wait,
No more technical difficulties.
Tony. Híjole.
Where's his hair anyway? His hair's not there. So this is Sabine Scherer, and she is a purveyor of the Gubal. She actually builds them at Pan Art and plays them. Gubal is an incredible instrument that is also a sculpture. It's a lot like a, I gotta be careful, hung. It's a lot like a hung, but it has a big hole in the top of it.
Wasn't Alem, wasn't he playing that?
I think Blas
Wasn't he playing
smoked. I don't know what you're saying. Are you talking about Alem?
Alem, he was playing that.
Alem was
Gubal
playing a while back, yeah.
when he was beatboxing.
Jeff Ardle says, I think I'm behind. Let me grab a gummy. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. There's some.
Oh, the gummies, man.
I think that Boney must have handed out some gummies before the show or something. I don't know what happened. But he
Boney's
handed
the
out
man.
hair pills and gummies, and I think we're in trouble. I think it is time for Joel Squared, now that you mention it.
Are they ready for Joel and Joel?
I don't know, man. It's going to be tough.
Let's bring him on, man.
This guy's a powerhouse, by the way.
I like him.
You were going to love this guy.
I like him, man. He got good energy.
Lalitha says, where's
hot
Boney's
breath.
hair? I think Blas stole Boney's hair. I think is what happened. It's a mystery.
Boney.
It's a hair murder mystery. All right, let's get into this thing called Interview Friday.
Joe Marshall's Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. Take a trip.
Two Jeffs. Yeah, two Jeffs.
What are the odds?
I love that. There's two Joels and two Jeffs. There's Jeff Ardle and Jeff Lohman. Let's see how many Jeffs we can pack into this show and how many Joels. Go out there, get some Joels. We got some Ginnies. Only one Ginny so far. Everybody's got to pair up. Everybody's got to find another namesake because it's Squared Day. Squared Day. I deem it Squared Day. Okay, so this is the part where I tell you about the guest. I kind of already did, but Joel Byars is Joel Byars. He's in the Dallas Buyers Club, I think. He's in Blas is in the Hair Club for Men. But Joel has a thing called Hot Breath. He's going to tell us about that. He also is a veteran comedian. He's been doing comedy for at least 12 years, maybe more. He has a Dry Bar special, and I don't know if you all know what Dry Bar is, but Dry Bar is a clean comedy website where they've got excellent, top-notch comedians there. It's a big honor. My sister-in-law Heather is here. She's gonna need help. Finding another Heather out there? I don't know. I think it might be kind of easy. Ginny has the J
Remember the
sound.
Heathers?
Heathers. Remember the movie Heathers? Is that what
Remember the
you're talking
Heathers?
about? The Heathers.
The Heathers.
What was that in?
Winona
Joel,
Ryder.
Joel, Ginny, Jessica, Jeremy. Pile on, pile in. Dry Bar special
Christian
is
Slater.
very impressive. Heathers, like the movie.
Remember he was doing Jack Nicholson?
Oh my God, I'm gonna mute you, Blas.
Sorry.
Too many gummies.
Commenting
this
on the
morning.
Heathers.
I just want to thank you all sincerely for coming out and being a part of this event. I've been doing comedy almost 10 years, and this is a moment where I'm really going all in on myself and trying to create an opportunity that inspires others to do the same. So this is how comedy specials go. Most comics do like 4 recordings of their comedy specials. Joel's doing it in 1, and it looks like a half right now. I gotta admit, I am a trophy husband. I will admit it. Yeah, it's a participation trophy, but I married the perfect wife. She has a tattoo, so she can handle permanent mistakes. She brought the dog, of course. We're leaving his side. Look at him petting him. Look at him. I'm so jealous. It's all right, though. Hey. People ask me, like, when I'm having kids, I'm like, I don't want kids. Not till I have unlimited data. It's also kind of scary to have a kid right now because I don't know if the world is ending or not. I hear the sea levels are rising, but then I hear half of America's obese. So I don't know if the seas are rising or if we're just sinking. So I want to end my special On a joke my wife told me not to do.
Tommy John, right, bonus time. Wait, where is he? Wait a minute, where is he? Let's bring him on right now. Joel Byars. Yeah, there he is. Yeah. All right. I love that. What is that? Are you dabbing or something, or what is that? Am I guessing what that is?
I'm dabbing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was
Got to
dabbing.
keep up on these things. Got to keep up on these things.
It's very old.
It's an old thing, right? It's not. I'm not keeping up. I'm totally keeping down.
I mean, we're kicking it back to when Bloss had hair, so I figured I'd kick it back to when this was a popular dance. So
I'm gonna say, "Where's the beef?" any second now. Where's the beef?
What's that?
We like old things on this show. We like things that appear new, but are actually old. The other day, I spoke with somebody they didn't know who Monty Python was. And I said, of course, he played for Pink Floyd. All right, Joel. Welcome to this show.
the dramatic pause.
I
Pause
like
for
that.
laughter
I
or
love the
silence.
dramatic pause. Hey,
I love the step back like cue laughter.
yeah, I like it.
Never mind.
I like to pause. I like awkward pauses. Do you like awkward pauses? This is getting off to a great start, Joel. Really feeling it today. No, tell us about yourself, Joel. Okay, tell us first of all. Hot Breath. What is it?
Hot Breath. It is a comedy interview podcast where I've interviewed over 400 comedians all about comedy. You could think of it as Inside the Actor Studio for comedians.
I love that.
And it's on YouTube and all podcast apps.
Yeah, I've watched some of them. They're really awesome, and you're a great interviewer, as opposed to the other Joel on the screen who just has no idea what he's doing today.
Horrible.
I know.
Well, you haven't had
Just-
much to work with, if we're going to be honest. You know.
Well,
you gotta...
Boney really screwed me up in the begining because he gave Bloss too many gummies, I think.
He
And then
dosed
that
your
just threw
co-host.
me.
I saw that.
Yeah, he dosed the host. Oh my God. So, okay. You also help other comedians too, right? I mean, this is what drew me to you. One of the things, besides the hilarious comedy and the mustache, of course. Yeah,
That's a new development.
is that you seem to be somebody that feels like we should help each other out instead of just like trying to step on each other's face as we get up to the stage. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, comedy is hard enough. So if you can help each other get better together, we're all going to be better for it. Because when I started, it was very negative and competitive. So I was always very mindful with Hot Breath of making sure that it was all community driven. Everyone is there to be positive and supportive and help each other through all their struggles. So it's definitely something that's been very intentionally cultivated. And I'm grateful to say that comedy is getting more positive and supportive, unlike when I started. It's definitely gotten a lot it's definitely a lot different, and probably a big reason why comedy is booming right now, because comedians learned, oh, we can help each other instead of trying to tear each other down. And then look at how big comedy is right now. It's never been bigger. So I think that's a big part of it.
That's a really good thing to
Because
say.
of
I
you.
think.
Because of you.
Because of Joel
Joel Byars.
Byars.
Yes, of course.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say, right?
Yes,
you're
it
from
is.
you're from are you from Georgia? Is that where you're from originally?
Uh-huh. Yes.
What's it? What drew you to comedy? Like, is there a lot of comedy going on in Georgia?
Well, I always liked comedy. I didn't really decide to try comedy until my senior year of college, when I was actually up in Tennessee. So I actually did an open mic up there.
Yeah.
Did it once, got completely hooked, and I've done it ever since.
Oh wow. So were other people doing it in Tennessee? I mean, what was the open mic like at the time?
Oh my heavens. I mean, if
Good,
you've
huh?
ever been to open mic comedy, they're all like equally depressing. I mean, it was not great, including me. I was not great either. But through time and repetition and performing at enough strip clubs and nightclubs and buses and sidewalks, I was able to find my voice in this game. But open mic comedy, but I think that's why anyone who is thinking about trying comedy, they should at least go to an open mic and watch, because then you realize, oh, everyone is terrible. I can go up there and be bad just like them.
Yeah, that's a great, very inspiring, Joel. Everyone sucks. I can suck too.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
I like it though. When I did a podcast called Fat Free Film, where I interviewed filmmakers, and one of the things that people said from other countries and places that had listened to my podcast, they were like, you know what? I thought people in Hollywood were like more than like superhumans. But then when I listened to them talk, I realized, oh, they're just like us, and I can do it too. And then some of them did. Some of them are cinematographers and filmmakers now, just from listening to other filmmakers talk, that have walked the walk. And I think that's one of the main things, is walking the walk.
Yeah, big difference between like people that succeed or not, a lot of the times is just the people willing to do it, and the people willing to start and actually just be bad and embrace the process of, okay, it's going to take me a while to get proficient at this skill set, but I love it. I'm passionate about it. I'm willing to put in the work to actually make this my full-time gig. So that's usually the difference, the people willing to just kind of stick it out.
Yeah. I like that. Paul McCartney said,
and the people that married someone with a job and benefits. That helps as well.
It's a great idea. It's a perfect idea for all comedians out there. Marry somebody with a job and benefits.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. I love that.
I wish someone warned me about the wedding planning, though. Oh my. I would rather plan a divorce. No one warned me of the interrogation that was going to happen. Every day, my wife would just wake me up with her eyes wide open. Who's the band going to be? What's our hashtag going to be? I was like, I'm good with whatever your parents pay for. I defer to Ann and Randall. Let's talk to the investors on this. Because I'm still paying off your rings. Yeah, congratulations, ladies. You get 2 rings. That's why we get paid more. It's a ring tax. Yeah, Beyonce didn't tell us that part, did she? She just said, put a ring on it. She's like, if you like it, then you gotta put a ring on it. She forgot to mention, but if you love her, you gotta put another ring on it. And then there's a ring tax you gotta keep paying. Oh, no, 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 no.
All right, yeah. So, how do you nowadays, after doing comedy, 12 years? 12 years?
Yeah, over 13 now.
13 years?
Mm-hmm.
How do you work on your comedy, brand new stuff? Do you go to open mics still?
I will go some if there's something I'm like excited or interested to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I'm working out material when I'm on the road, like doing headlining sets and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the early days of comedy, I lived on stage for probably 8 or 9 years. Like every night I was out doing at least one show. And if I wasn't on a show, I was out like watching and studying a headliner that was in town. So I lived on stage for the better part of a decade. And then now that I'm on the road more and I'm trying to balance that with home life and keep my sanity, I'm now a little more mindful about how I spend my time when I do go out and when I stay home. So most of it's worked out on the road now more than anything.
And what do you do? Do you slip in bits into like a set that you normally do, and you slip things in here and there and try them out?
Yeah, I'll slip stuff in like in between bits I know works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I have a joke about marriage and then maybe I have newer stuff about the topic of marriage or something related to it, I'll kind of couch it in between like a joke I know kills, try some new stuff. If it doesn't work, I'll bounce it back with another joke I know works and just kind of test out the set that way. Never like losing the audience, but definitely taking time to like try things out as we go along.
One of the things that I promised in this podcast was that we'd talk about being a professional comedian. And can you tell us how you, how long it took to become a professional comedian, and what did you do to kind of get to the next level?
Oh man. Well, it took me about 8 years, 7 or 8 years to jump in full time. I did it very gradually. I saved up a nest egg, and I was living in like a studio apartment in the basement of a building in like the hood of Atlanta. Like I was on the front lines of gentrification, really going all in there. Where during the day I would wash dishes or deliver pizza. One time I refilled mini bars as a job. So I was doing these jobs and just saving all my money. I lived on like, I mean, I mean, for the mini bar, my job was to change out the expired food with up-to-date food. So I may or may not have been living off some of that mini bar food for a little while, actually.
That's prime food too, because it's very expensive. Mini bar food.
Yeah, I went on the road on a week run one time and ate nothing but Cliff Bars for an entire week. No, I still can't eat them again.
Oh my God.
But those are like the early sacrifices of just like doing anything and everything I can to pursue comedy full time. And as I was built up a nest egg, then I just got to a moment of like, all right, I'm getting pretty busy with comedy. And it's starting to kind of get in the way of the job. So I sat down and like weighed my options of, okay, what's best case scenario if I go full time? What's worst case scenario? And I was willing to live with both. So I ended up just quitting my job and making that my full-time gig. So it's been that, I would say 7 or 8 years, and I've been doing it 13.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been full-time for a few years now.
That's pretty good. Jeff Lohman says, how different are the Southern audiences from the Northern ones?
I mean, I do comedy, and this has been my goal since I started, that works everywhere, basically. I mean, in Atlanta, I did shows where it was an all-white audience, where it was an all-black audience, where it was a young audience, where it was an old audience. Like, I literally performed everywhere to get in front of as many people as possible, so my comedy would translate to as many people as possible. So the things I'm talking about, it's pretty universal. I mean, it's like marriage, it's like my own life, or like growing up husky, or like my addiction to technology or sugar and things like that. Like, I'm not political. I just want to create a show where people can just let go and laugh. I'm not someone who's gonna, I heard a comedian say this, I don't want to change your mind. I just want to change your mood. So I'm really very intentional about, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of just noise coming at us every day. I want my comedy show to be something you can just kind of just release and just relax and not have to worry about that it's going to be too dirty or you're going to have to hear political stuff. So really everything I talk about translates just to the different regions. There's nothing that really, and I'm very mindful and intentional of that I do want my brand of comedy to be something that people can bring grandkids to grandparents and just have a good time, and it not matter where people are from, because we can all laugh at the same universal truths we all share.
Yeah.
I find, if I may.
What are you saying? Something,
find
boss?
that Joel too. I find that his comedy,
I like it.
It being clean,
bring this guy on,
is very universal. I think that because he's a clean comic, he can relate to every audience. You know what I'm saying? He has the ability to relate to any color, culture, race, economic status. You know, I think the guy's got something there. I think he's got that. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's saying what he wants to say, and people are laughing, and he's making people feel good.
That's good.
That's
it's fun. It's funny first. Like, it's not hokey or corny comedy. I mean, it's very funny. I came up in the trenches of Atlanta doing all the rough shows. So it's like, I've put a lot of work to get to where I am, to where I can create this comedy that is silly and fun, but it is also very funny. You're going to come out and have a good time.
Well, and it's great too, because people can play it at work. People can play it. People are not afraid of bringing their, bringing people to your show. I know for a while there in Los Angeles, and maybe it's still true, you would go to a show. I would bring people to a show, at like the Comedy Store, and there'd be like a comedian that worked really blue, and they'd be like picking on them. Like I had some friends who were like an older couple, and the person's up there going, "So tell us about your sex life," and just really like digging into them. And I'm just like, I really wish I didn't invite them and they're texting me going, "When do you go on? When do you go on?" It's such an awkward.
I've been there. I've definitely been there. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
I married the perfect wife. She has a tattoo, so she can handle permanent mistakes. Yeah, we met in college. Another permanent mistake. Anybody else fall for that Ponzi scheme? The degree is just a receipt to a 4-year vacation from home before you move back in. I'll tell you, as a college grad, living at home is stressful. 9 to 5's a long time to be alone. You're just sitting watching TV, seeing ads for cheaper schools. Because they're creating schools instead of jobs now. I saw a commercial for UTI. Y'all catch that one? If you go to UTI, you deserve whatever happens next.
I love it. I love your stuff too because it's so, like you say, it's very universal, but it also is. Bloss is loving it in there. He loves it.
UTI joke. It's so
yeah, it's good. It's good. So
I'm a clean comedian when I just had a UTI joke. I love that.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean it's clean enough, right? I mean, you didn't even. What I love too about you is you take your time. You really take your time on stage. Can you tell us a little bit about when you did the dry bar? Because that was kind of like that's a high bar, the dry bar, right?
Yeah, that just happened like the special we're watching clips of. I self-produced that. It's called The Trophy Husband. I released that in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not 2010, 2020.
Right.
Sorry. And I had a whole Trophy Husband tour booked, which we all know how that year ended. With the pandemic, but released that in 2020, and then in 2022 I filmed my dry bar special. So I basically had a friend reach out to Dry Bar about me. They kind of referred me, and then Dry Bar liked my stuff, so then I flew out to Utah and filmed the special. So and Dry Bar is very clean as well. That's like church clean.
Yeah,
very family oriented over there. But I mean, I had a blast. I was able to do what I consider my best work yet, and I'm very grateful that it's getting a lot of good feedback. And it's funny, that special is called Marriage Material, so there's definitely a theme developing within my comedy. But I find the comedy where I find it most exciting, and that a lot of times is just my personal life.
And how's your wife? Was that your wife that brought the dog to your show?
Yeah.
Or was that somebody else?
Yeah, that's our dog Guinness. Yeah.
I like that. How is your wife? Does she love your comedy? Or is she like, stop talking about me?
Yeah, love is subjective, I would say. Love is in the eye of the beholder. I'm getting away from talking about her. We'll just say that.
You are okay.
Yeah. We're evolving.
Honey, your whole act is about me.
Well,
yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it?
She's not the whole act, but it definitely was things in my immediate area that I just had to draw on the right material about, So yeah. I'm talking about other things now. So we've moved on from most of that type of material, but I still weave in a little bit just to.
Of course, because it's personal. How personal does comedy need to be? Is it more personal and more funny, or what do you think about that?
It's kind of personal preference, you know. I mean, everyone has their own unique sense of humor and what they find funny and what interests them. So when I'm like coaching a comedian or in like one of my classes, I basically just always encourage people, just trust your instincts. Listen to what you find funny. Like any married comedian is most likely going to have marriage material. So how you can make it different from everyone else is you talking about marriage from your own point of view, from your own experiences, from what you find funny or absurd or interesting or frustrating about marriage is how you're going to find the unique angle on otherwise universal topics. But then there's some comics who just do silly one-liners, and that's fine with them, or they just do absurd comedy about abstract ideas. It's all personal preference. So I just happen to be personal, but it's whatever gets the laughs that you get excited about to perform and write and refine is where you're going to start to find your voice.
You're also kind of a scholar of comedy. One of the things that drew me to your YouTube channel was I watched a thing that you did about Steve Martin, who was one of my idols growing up, and I always enjoyed. And I read his book, but your video about Steve Martin gave me even more information about it. Is that something that you do, study other comedians and study their techniques for your own comedy?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Martin is he's on my Mount Rushmore for sure.
Me too.
Just,
there he is behind you, in fact. He's even behind you in that little picture. Yeah, comedy is not pretty, right?
Comedy's not pretty, yeah. And I've got Rodney Dangerfield. I've got several albums up there.
Love that.
But yeah, he's the one who just like injected the fun and silly into comedy in a very political and serious time. So that was always inspirational for kind of what I'm aspiring to do with my own comedy. But I definitely study comedians, especially earlier on in my career, because I was always looking for inspiration everywhere. And then interviewing over 400 comedians, you know, I'm always learning and trying to learn from someone and see what I can apply or not apply, or just learn how people got to certain places in their careers. Yeah. So I started doing some of those like mini documentaries about certain comedians, just as another style of content. You know, I have my comedy out there, I have my podcast out there. So I was just trying to flex my storytelling muscle a little bit and get more into, because I want to do films as well. I do want to like act and write and direct films as well. So this is kind of my step into that direction of just testing out scripting and actually like producing a high quality, even if it is like 11 minutes, just really starting to dip my toe into that pool as well.
That's a great idea too, because you know it seems like the entertainment industry has come to you in Atlanta because like there's so much going on in Atlanta now, and you were already kind of there. So that must have been. Has the town completely changed since you've been there?
Yeah, I never moved from Atlanta to like LA or New York because I always just believed in Atlanta, and I believed in the comedy scene. And the comedy scene is somewhere where you can get up multiple times a night, which is what you got to do as a comedian.
Yeah.
And I had friends that moved to LA and New York, and I just, you know, and they lived on couches or shared a 2-bedroom with 4 people type deal. And, you know, and then they made it onto late night and other cool things. But that wasn't the path I wanted to do. I want to kind of build it my way organically and own everything that I create, which is the position I'm in now. So to see Atlanta from where it was when I started comedy to now, it's basically the new Hollywood with so many studios here. And I think as the industries keep getting bigger, like comedy's growing here, and the business industry here is booming as well, and the film industry. So I think there's going to be a lot more overlap, and there's going to be a lot more bridges built between all the different industries that I'm definitely excited to dip my toe in. We
have a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, like John Adams, who was on the show, have moved to Atlanta from Los Angeles. Like they started their comedy career, their acting career here, and now have gone to Atlanta and having booming careers out there. So it's great. Everybody's coming to you. I'll be there soon. I love the fact that the chat room is making jokes. Jeff Lohman says, I met my wife on Tinder. It was very embarrassing. I think maybe you want to say, I found my wife on Tinder, right? Because you're saying that you were on Tinder and then you were like, wait, that's my wife.
Yeah, that's a good edit there. Yeah.
My wife on Tinder, because it can't be met, I don't think. The other one,
she said,
Kamala liked it. She got it. We all got it. It just could be a little bit more specific. Greg Ortela, my wife was reading a self-help book, and it said to embrace your mistakes. so she gave me a hug. That one. I like that
Oh,
one too.
that's nice.
It's endearing. It's beautiful. It's nice.
All right.
All right, I want to talk to you about your podcast. I wonder if I could show this clip of Felipe Esparza. He's talking about podcasting and people coming on his podcast. It's you on your Hot Breath podcast. Could I play just a little bit of that?
Let her rip.
All right, let's do it.
Goes back to you're saying one of the best ways to make it is to have a big personality.
Yeah.
Be outgoing.
You can't be lame, man.
Yeah.
Or if you don't know how to interview, go check out go to an app and go, could I interview better? Make good answers. Like if they tell you, what do you like about school? Lunch. Don't ever answer a question like that. What you answer a question like this so the listener can know what question you answer. What I like about lunch, first of all, is lunch. I like burritos. I hate standing in line. You know, I hate when I lose my meal ticket. Details, bro.
Details, bro.
I hate when you would ask a person a question and go, yeah, fuck that, dude. I want to punch him in the fucking face. Dude, if I don't get a long answer from you, you better get the fuck out the podcast.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I hate when I got to do all the talking because people are lame. They're fucking shy.
Okay.
I hate it, bro. I hate when I got to do a podcast from our publicist and we have a young person who doesn't know how to do interviews. So you have a new album come out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you fat ass. Where is it coming out at? And another thing also, if you're going to be a guest on a podcast, as soon as you get off the podcast, go tell people you're on that podcast. If you're begging to be on a podcast, one thing I hate the most is you beg to be on my podcast, and then when I post that you're going to be on my podcast with a photo, and you don't retweet it. Like I did a podcast with this guy right here. And I kept going after that comment, bro, when are you going to put the fucking podcast
Bro, when are you
up?
going to put...
And he never even put it on his fucking page.
What?
Bro, I'm Felipe Esparza.
What?
You're nobody.
I know who you are. That's why you're
That's
here.
why I asked that
Yeah.
guy. I'm no one. I kept asking him, when are you going to put the podcast up? When are you going to Bro, I took time to do your podcast. You never put it up.
All right. Let that be a warning to you all. When they come to Joel's podcast, make sure you have something to say. Make sure you post about it afterwards. I love that,
Amen.
though. There's so many more people podcasting. Like when I started podcasting in the, I don't know when it was, early 2000s, there weren't very many. And now so many people are doing it. And sometimes people are like, oh, everybody's got a podcast. But I think it's kind of great because there's like a podcast, a community of people. How important is this kind of online stuff to a comedian's career nowadays?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I literally, when I started Hot Breath, like 7 years ago, I think, but there wasn't a podcast of like comedians asking comedians like comedy questions. Like every podcast I listened to with a comedian, my favorite moments were when they were nerding out about how they write a joke or how they booked a certain opportunity in their career, and then they would move on from it. And I was like, oh, I want a show of just that stuff. So I started Hot Breath as the show I wish existed, which was like comedians kind of sharing the sauce on the comedy game. So now I was on a podcast yesterday where the host was saying Hot Breath inspired him to start his podcast where it is comedians talking about comedy.
Yes.
So I've done
I love
several
that.
comedians talking about comedy podcasts that they say were inspired by Hot Breath. So
that's the whole thing, right?
music.
That's the whole game. Yeah. I love that. Do you so the long form interview, I love some of this stuff because actually as comedians you really learn from the other comedians and what they have to say. Is that how you have learned technique, or do you learn structure from anybody in particular that you go to?
I mean, I learned a lot by doing early on. I mean, I read books early on, like early in my career. I read some books to learn structure and things like that.
Yeah.
But I've interviewed basically every comedy author in the game now. Like I did a whole comedy author series where basically all the top authors, when you search comedy writing on Amazon, we just had them all on the podcast in like a series of interviews. So yeah, I now learn. Cool. I've learned kind of now more by doing, and I kind of have my process now, but comedy is definitely a thing you got to learn the rules before you break them. So there's definitely some good people. I mean, you've had Judy Carter on here, who wrote the Comedy Bible, who's awesome.
She's great.
The Joke Doctor is another great.
Yeah, Jerry Corley.
Resource. Yeah, Jerry Corley. So
yeah,
there's
got Greg Dean, all kinds of people. Yeah, I mean, it's so.
The two of you.
Yeah.
The two of you, your programs are about stand-up comedy community. That's the thing, you know. Like he said, another guy got inspired by his, and you took your podcast from your fat-free film, and then started this show. By the way, this is a show, not a podcast. It could be heard.
It's not a freaking podcast.
But it's a show. Okay, let me make it clear. Okay, Oni, right?
Oni says yes. I think he does.
But the two of you, there's not too many of you guys that are supportive, that are sharing the secrets, that are sharing, these comedy gurus, and getting them to share their information, their book. They got a book, but let's talk about that book, And the two of you guys are doing it. The Joel and Joels.
The Joel and Joels. It's an army of Joels.
Doing it.
We gotta find some more
at the end of the
Joels
day, people have to apply it. Like, you can share all the recipes, but people still have to cook it themselves. And that's why I've learned from interviewing so many people that no one has really held back. Like, comedians really like helping comedians, and they like sharing things they learned the hard way. So hopefully younger comics don't have to suffer the way they did. And at the end of the day, like, you can learn all the techniques and skills, but you've got to take them to the stage, and you've got to put in the work yourself. That's the one thing. You cannot skip the stage if you want to be a comedian. That is the number one piece of advice from the podcast has been, you have to get on stage, period.
Yeah. You had Cedric, the entertainer, on the show, and he was saying that it's like all about the stage time. Jeff Loman says, lovely papaya trees in the background, proof that this isn't a podcast. It's a show. Wait, isn't a podcast and not a show? It's not a show either? What is it?
A podcast is a show, but this has a visual content that allows you to see, not just hear the intent,
I know. We
but
only
see
have screen.
the person's reaction and how they're explaining it. Like Joel, you guys, sometimes you could be sarcastic, and in a podcast, some people might not understand that sarcasm. They might take that as something for real. But if you see someone's face and they're like, oh, that guy's being funny right now. See what I'm saying? It's the difference between a show.
But some podcasts are visual, right? I mean, am I wrong?
No, yes, of course.
I mean, like Hot Breath is would you call it a podcast?
Yeah, I would say it's a podcast. Yeah.
Semantics. I think maybe
you can listen to it like a podcast, but it's also you could people talking to each other.
It's a show.
That's a huge thing. It's a big, huge thing. It's a big, but wait. Let me say something about the old time comedians. I did stand up a long time ago too. So
okay, let's hear it.
The thing about stand up being cutthroat, about being kind of like not helpful. And usually that was because the real people that were doing the work, the comedians that are doing the work, they had their little groups of people. They had their little communities. You know what I mean? Comedians hung out with comedians. You know what I mean? Jay Leno, David Letterman, Seinfeld, Chris Rock, those guys. They had their little groups of people. And it was the people that would walk in and try to do stand-up for a couple of weeks and trying to be famous right away.
That's why they were busting their chops.
Those guys out. They're not part of the team because you could tell they're not doing the work. They're just trying to jump in. But the people that are doing the work, the people you see all the time, 5-6 days a week, all of a sudden you build a community because everybody's working on the same thing. And those people are supportive of each other.
Yeah, fuck it. People should be supportive. People should be supportive of everybody. That's what I think. That's what I'm saying. I just muted you, Bloss. I just trumped you on my own show. I just totally said it, and then I muted you. He's still talking. Okay, so one other thing. Hold on. I want to thank you, Joel, for being on the show, first of all. It's super good. Bloss has just totally been put into the green room with Boney. So what do you see in the future? You were saying that you're thinking about doing, you want to act more? You want to... Yep. Yeah. And what is the road? Do you set goals for yourself? Do you say like 5 years out, I want to be doing this, or what? How do you do it? And what do you want to be doing?
Yeah. So next fall, I want to film my next comedy special at the theater at my college. My senior year of college, they built a new theater that I've been obsessed with ever since. So I want to film my next special there next fall. I definitely, my primary focus right now is beyond like booking gigs. And I mean, now I've kind of translated my comedy into beyond just stand up. I now do like corporate team building trainings. I'll either through improv or also do like sales training for teams, teaching them how to write a joke. And it's a good team building exercise where they write jokes together and then perform them. So I'm starting to see the application of comedy beyond just standing on stage and telling jokes. So I'm excited to do more of those things as well. But in the immediate future, my goal for this year is to build Hot Breath YouTube channel, because it's interesting you say, is it a podcast? It's part of it's part podcast, but it's also an online community. It's also like live shows. And I'm going to start producing different styles of content on the YouTube channel, kind of like the Steve Martin video that you saw. I'm going to start doing more things in that style, but on the Hot Breath channel, and more like trending topics and things like that. So the immediate goal is to get that channel to 60,000 subscribers and get the momentum going there, as my stand-up is building nice momentum. So there's a lot. It's kind of like, you get one ball spinning and then you go over here and work on the next one, and you kind of just work them all around.
You kind of have to have a lot of, as all comedians nowadays kind of have to have a lot of plates, balls spinning at the same time, because you have to, there are ways to make money, but they're in various different areas. I applaud you for doing the corporate gigs. Is it hard to market yourself for that? Do you have to get one and then be able to do you show them clips, or how do you sell yourself for that kind of thing?
Yeah, so a lot of that is like referral based, or I've had people see my podcast and be like, oh, he seems like a credible source in comedy. He should come teach comedy to our team. That's how I've booked some stuff, is just they've seen my content and see that I'm like a reputable resource that can actually go and teach comedy that way. And a lot of it is word of mouth, where I do a good event for one company and they send me some referrals to a few others, and maybe 5, and maybe 1 that gets back to me that year, or like they'll say down the line or things like that. It's really like the majority of the work, and this is something universal, especially for other comedians I've talked to, the majority will come from other like comedians that know someone at a certain place, or like Dry Bar came through a referral, so I've booked other corporate stuff from either a friend who couldn't do the gig and they referred me, or they had an uncle that needed a comedian for their holiday party, and they were like, I'm a dirty comedian, but Joel's clean, he could do it, type deal. So it's a lot more word of mouth. I don't necessarily brand myself as much as I probably could in the corporate world.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
it's a good thing, right?
It's a great
Ginny Sykes says, thanks, Joel B. I've participated in some Hot Breath groups. Can you tell us about the Hot Breath groups? Are they like Facebook groups?
Yeah. During the pandemic, I started a Facebook group that's now like, I think 8,000 comedians all around the world. And we do a daily joke writing exercise called the Write 10 Club, where we post a new word in the group, and then people write jokes using that word and give each other feedback. And then we vote for what the joke of the day is in there. And that started just with, during the pandemic, I went live. I did that live every day for over 400 days. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm done. I appreciate y'all, but we're just going to
every day. You did it every day?
Literally.
Wow.
Literally every day. Yeah. It ended in a mental breakdown. I cried. It was a whole thing. But now it's a daily joke writing club in there, and people will post different opportunities and looking for people to book on shows and stuff. So it's really been very cool. Up until the pandemic, it was primarily like a podcast, but it really evolved and bloomed into something much bigger and much more impactful now, that I'm very excited to see, where we can all take Hot Breath together. That's definitely community driven and community created. So yeah, we're creating a lot of awesome things.
And that anybody can do it, right? Not just like seasoned comedians. Anybody can go on there and hang out. And
yeah, for sure. A lot of people are just hiring comedians.
Look, podcast definition: a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series. New installments, which can be received by subscribers automatically. So I think yours is a show too.
Yeah, I
like to send mine out as a podcast too, so some people listen to it. Because when you're driving, running, doing all that kind of stuff, you want to listen to Joel couple of Joels talking about
Yeah.
comedy. So would you say that from when you began and now the path to being a successful comedian has changed quite drastically, or would you say it's the same, or what would you say is different about now from when you began?
Oh, yeah. The internet has just put the entire industry on its head. Like I mean, I just did a video. It's about to come out on the YouTube channel, but it's all produced and everything, about a comedian named Matt Rife, who literally, he got banned on Instagram. So he just started posting a lot on TikTok, went viral, and now he's sold out a world tour. Like literally last year, he couldn't sell 100 tickets.
Is this the guy that does all the crowd work?
Yes. Yeah,
He's hilarious. And somebody in my, acting class basically came to me and said, you should do like what this guy's doing. Because he was like,
that's the
I'm
wave
like,
now.
yeah, sounds great. Yeah. I mean, he's very funny. He's also kind of a sexy guy. Like the women are like, oh, in the audience, or men even, and he plays to that. Definitely. One of the comedians that you had on your Hot Breath podcast said something about that. Who was it? It was, I don't know who it was, but he said, sorry, I might have this in my notes somewhere. Anyway, he said that a comedian, all the women should want to have sex with them. For you to be
was that Ali
hugely...
Sadiq?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Said that, yeah. I mean,
and I saw you were like looking at the camera like, what'd you say?
I mean, female fan bases are way more supportive than male fan bases. Like men aren't going to be like, yo, bro, let's go to the comedy show type deal.
Yeah.
But like women are going to bring their friends. They'll bring their boyfriends or like their husbands and things like I've heard that from several comics is like, you want a female fan base because they're going to be the most loyal. And can we mute Blas?
I just did. Because he was freaking me out with that. Yeah.
Like you need a female fan base. She's like, yeah.
I
Women,
know.
like this wig, like this woman's wig I'm wearing.
I'm like,
yeah.
Please, Blas, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's true. Yeah, I think that was Ali Sadiq that said that in his
Yeah,
interview.
it was. It was. And in fact, he even said he gets tailored clothes to wear on stage. And that was something that I noticed when in your special, you have like a 3-piece suit on. And then
that was my wedding suit.
That was your wedding suit?
So that was the suit I wore in my wedding. So it was called the Trophy Husband. It was a whole theme.
Oh,
That's
I
really
see.
weird.
Yeah.
But I am mindful of how I dress on stage
Yeah.
because I do want to dress nicer to kind of give that professional presentation to the show people paid to see,
Mm-hmm. When I dress in a 3-piece suit on stage, they think I'm a magician.
No, I could see that. Or you look like an illusionist. You look
like, is he going to perform magic? This is great.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I don't do that
You
anymore.
definitely have that vibe.
But I do try to, Steve Martin always said, dress better than the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of fun as well.
Yeah. It makes a difference, and you feel better.
Yeah. Verna says, "What's his name?" I don't know.
Joel Byars.
Joel Byars is right there. I'm
sure
she's
on
at
Facebook. So
she must
can
be
find the Facebook group there.
Yeah, find the Facebook group there.
Hot Breath.
Ginny says, "Who would ever want to have sex with a comic unless he's Matt Rife?" Well, there you go. There you have it.
Yeah. So he's just one example of many of comedians who have used the internet to completely blow up.
Rocket.
Like
and you
overnight.
look at his, you said he's had a world tour or whatever, but I mean, every day is booked. He's going to be like you. He's going to burn out. He's going to burn out.
So he's been doing comedy like 13 years. So this just...
He's clearly knows what he's doing. It's not like this. Some guy just got up there and started talking to the audience. He is
But that's
really
the thing
good
different now is like young comics are like, oh man, I have to figure out how to write a joke and how to write a 5-minute set and how to get booked. And I have to figure out how to create content that then promotes myself to then go viral so I can sell tickets. Like there's so many more things young comics have to worry about than like when I did coming up. But it's a totally different game. I can't imagine starting now just because of the pressure of like, oh, they see these other comedians blow up on social media and they're like, oh, I want to do that. And a lot of the times they may blow up on social media, but then they're not ready because they went viral on a crowd work clip and they only have 7 minutes of material and they're headlining a show and then people don't want to come back and see them. I've seen that happen as well. So
absolutely. You can't do it too
fast right now.
You know, it's also, you can't be so precious about your material anymore because you got to just get it out there. It used to be, I remember when for a while there, comedians were like, oh, I don't want to post on the internet because of all my material. But now, you know, I think people know you're working your material all the time. And you can go on the internet and see people, you know, their material progress, which is kind of fun as well.
And that's also why people post crowd work so much, is because they don't have to
give up their material,
use their jokes. Yeah, exactly. And then people are learning, oh, crowd work is a skill also. So it's like, oh, the joke writing, you have to learn that. Oh, but crowd work's a whole other animal that requires a whole other level of expertise. So yeah.
And you have to know how to interview people, and you have to know how to act, and you maybe have to know how to sing. It's great. It's sort of the new Broadway of performing, because you have to be like a quadruple threat, and you also have to know how your damn computer works.
It's open for anyone and everyone, though. Anyone willing to put in the work. I mean, it literally is just, it's like a blank slate again. There's no right way or one way. There's literally your way. So the more follow your own instincts and follow what excites you, then that's where you'll find the opportunity, you know?
I love that. Okay. People want to find you. They should go to your website. I take it. Is that where they should go? And that is up there on the screen there, but I'm just going to show people.
Yeah. JoelByersComedy.com. That's where you can see my Trophy Husband comedy special. That's by donation. I self-produced it. So if you want to support a hustling comic, that's a good way to do it, and see a funny special.
Please.
My podcast is Top Breath, and that's on YouTube and all podcast apps as well.
There's your website there. Very dynamic website. So, and also, you can learn all about Joel. And if you, tell me just a little bit more about your fundraising that you do.
Yeah, I work with the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation, and that's another thing people, they saw my content and really liked it, and were like, we think you'd be a great fit to basically do, like, one of their kids wanted to be a comedian. So I coached him, and we actually produced a live event for him. And there's a whole like mini documentary I shot about it that's on YouTube. It's also on my website right there as well. So I love that. Yeah, comedy goes way beyond just like staying on stage and telling jokes. And that was definitely an eye-opener, getting to work with National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. And I've worked with them ever since. I do their fundraiser every year. I've kept up with Ethan and everything he's doing as well. So it was a life-changing event for sure.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on our show, our podcast, our television extravaganza. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And just keep doing the great work that you're doing. If you ever want to come back on this show, please do.
Of course.
And if you want to do some weird sketches with Bloss and his wig, I invite you to do so. And so now we're going to dance break. The dance break is the song. It's also a song that we had a cover on last week, but it's a different band. I hope everybody will dance. Jeff Lohman says, thanks, Joel. Joel, gotta go.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bilo says, what's up with that mustache? Is it his or my mustache? I don't know. Anyway, so let's get into this thing, dance this thing out. All right, dance break. Mustache. Yeah. This is... Gosh, she's still laughing. So this is Kalua El Grupo. Thanks everybody for joining us today. It's been a great show. Thanks, Boney, for all your gummies. Voice. He's like, God. Woo.
Thanks a lot, Joel, too. Sure.
Tells you what you should be doing while it's playing. I like the bongos too. Yeah. All right, thanks everybody. We will see you next Tuesday on Lunch Therapy. You should be dancing. Keep dancing all through the weekend.
Joel.